a relationship you want to be in, a healthy one, is one where you trust and you truly let someone see everything that is you. The more you hide, guess what? The more unconsciously you're going to start assuming the other person's hiding from you. So similar to the good deeds, it also means going first. All right, there's a book you can read called Radical Honesty by Brad Blanton. This is a very extreme book. I don't agree with everything, but it's a very interesting perspective. And what he says is, you know, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here. I've heard this, not confirmed, so don't take my word, but as a thought experiment, it's an interesting exercise. On some of his events or retreats, you would say you sign up, you'd have to sit down. The whole idea is just be honest about everything all the time. So the whole idea is you'd sit down and he'd have the person go over and tell the group their entire life story. Not the story that you tell your friends, and then you can kind of think of the different stories that you say, right? You have this life story of who you are and what you did in your past that you tell your friends. You have this life story that you tell your family. You have this life story you tell coworkers. There's this life story that you tell your partner, et cetera, right? All these different versions of the truth. But then there's the one life story that only you know. That's the challenge there, is you sit down and, hey, they pull out a camera, talk to the camera, tell that authentic life story from the beginning. No lies. Don't try to impress anyone. Don't even try to impress yourself. Put it all out there. And then they give you the recording and they tell you to send it to your parents, your friends, your partner, everyone you know. Now notice the cringe. What's the signal there? You're probably hiding a lot. Now again, I like this idea. Okay, do I agree with all this? Not necessarily. Okay, but it is very interesting to just kind of show you, like, where is that resistance? Where's those pockets of like, no one can ever see this, right? He also says when you enter a relationship to sit down with your partner and talk about, as honestly as possible and as detailed as possible, all of your past experiences, all of your past sexual experiences, everything. Put it all out on the table. That creates cringe. That's interesting, Why am I hiding that? Even on a more macro level, you can ask yourself, when it comes to your partner or a potential partner or someone you might want to enter a relationship with, are there parts of you that, there is a little bit of shame and resistance around them finding out about it, right? Like, take you at your most, you could say, kind of raw, authentic, even a bit vulnerable, right? Say you go out tonight and you kind of party it up. And tomorrow you wake up, wherever you live, and you're a bit tired, a bit even hungover, right? Say someone's like, drink, and you're just like, ugh, like hungover. You smell terribly. You didn't clean, nothing, you're there. Say that ideal partner just walks in. Would there be any cringe? Would there any part of you that's like, don't see me like this? If so, you're putting that wall. Now, does that mean be like that all the time? No. Okay, these are just interesting perspectives to bring this up. The same with right now in this moment, would you feel comfortable if your ideal partner saw your internet history, your browser, what you're into, what you read, what you watch? Would you feel comfortable if that partner met your friends? They'd be like, oh, then they'll see my friends aren't as cool as I kind of put it out to be. What about your family? What about your past? Talking to childhood friends, learning everything about you. Right? All this really shines a light on those things that you just kind of hide inside. This will also cause not only that paranoia as we talked about, but a lot of self-sabotage. This is rampant, by the way, where you might have amazing initial interactions with people. Again, friendships, relationships, networking, you name it. Amazing initial, but then after a certain point, you leave, you self-sabotage, you bounce. Why? Because there's that fear that, hey, if I spend more time with this person, they're going to start seeing past this carefully crafted front. They're going to see the real me. They're going to get to know the real me. And they might see that I'm not as I presented myself to be. And that too is very terrible. And you can audit how much of this front there is by how much effort and how drained you feel when talking to people. How much effort or drained you feel even in a relationship. And once more, it's like, That's not the goal, right? It's not this prison of paranoia where you're walking around on eggshells, like always drained. Like, what if my partner finds out all this stuff about me? A relationship is here. This is me. And you have to also trust that people will be okay with that. By you also going first, this is me, this is what's up, it gives your partner permission to do that as well. And then, it's like this personal sanctuary. Right? That's a serious relationship. It's like you're a unit.